Okay, good evening. We are live. Hello, welcome back to the Law Entrance YouTube channel and to another session of the Hindu analysis. Hello, Anirudh. Good evening. Good evening, Harsh. Welcome to the class, folks. I hope I'm audible, visible, PPT is visible, and you guys are online, live on the stream. If you are, can I have some responses in the chat box? Player 456 is here, Riva is here. Very good evening to all of you. ओके स्टार्ट करें आज का डिस्कशन लेट्स जस्ट वेट फॉर अ फ्यू मोर सेकंड्स लेट अदर पीपल जॉइन एज वेल Nirali is here, Nathik is here, HK is here, Adrija is here. Good evening, guys. Welcome to the class. Let's look at today's agenda, chalo. People would soon be joining in. आज देखते हैं क्या क्या डिस्कस करना है. Of course, the front page news or the most important news for us would be the BRICS summit. Then there is another news which talks about the Gini or the Gini coefficient, which essentially is a marker which shows parity between particular countries' development metrics. And here in this particular case, the lower the Gini coefficient, the better the country is performing. So we'll talk about the Gini coefficient. Then there's an editorial article which talks about Khelo Bharat Niti, specifically in context of Indian football. And then there is another article which talks about cooperatives and India. So these would be the four primary topics of discussion. Iske alawa bhi there are a few topics which we're going to discuss today. And then of course we'll be doing our vocabulary for the day. Okay? All right. Also, I wanted a suggestion from you guys before we begin our discussion. How many people are here live? 22 people. Yes, MS Dhoni's birthday, 7th of July. Best wishes to all of you guys who are celebrating MS Dhoni's birthday. Yeah, Mahi Bhai's birthday. Thala for a reason, absolutely correct. Harsh is saying, how can I give mocks? If you're a CL student, Harsh, you can not enroll, you can log into your portal and you would find the section where you can attempt mocks. If you're not a CL student, you can consider enrolling or you can go for the free mocks as well. Okay, good evening everyone who has joined. हाँ, मैं आपको बता रहा था कि मुझे आप लोगों से एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है. The question I wanted to ask was, I think one of you requested that you guys want a written summary or text in the PPT or while doing the newspaper, as that would help you make notes better or stay focused better. So there are two alternatives which we can do, and today I wanted a suggestion. Kal se we can implement that. First alternative is I give you instead of a screenshot, I give you pointers where I highlight important points and tell you what all is important to note down, which is on the slide. That is one option. That is option number one. Second option is we do the Hindu analysis the same way. We look at the important topics. We do a newspaper overview. And at the end of the session, I give you guys a PDF document or a Word document where there is a summary of the important topics for your reference. Basically, the ones which we discuss. Of course, it won't be possible to summarize the entire newspaper every day. But the topics which we discuss in class, the pointers which जो मैं यहाँ slide पे लिखता, वो मैं आपको एक document में लिख के दे दूँ. Which option do you guys want to go ahead with? I'm okay with both of them. ठीक है, मुझे तो note down करना ही है. So do you guys want the pointers in class while discussing, or do you want them for your reference later while making your notes? Option number one or option number two? Can we have a quick voting here? Okay, I can see a division, a clear division. Under this thing, it's been a month since I read newspaper. What should I do? Go through the Hindu analysis on a 2x speed, note down the important topics, see that you cover the important topics from newspaper as well as month. And बाकी वापस जाके newspaper पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Start from today. Don't go back and read old newspapers. Not the best use of time. Option one, option two. Okay, I think I'll have to take a countdown. Timothy is saying, how would this PDF be made available? अरे मैं यहाँ पे link paste कर दूंगा ना, जैसे chat box में I'll give you the link of a Google Doc and I'll make it open for access for everyone. So just like how I wrote hi here, I can paste the group link. Not group link, but a document link, and you guys can access that link. Sunday को live class नहीं होती, मेरी नहीं होती. I think Salik sir takes a class on Sunday if I'm not wrong. But yeah, I take classes on weekdays, Monday to Friday. Okay, Timothy is saying, okay, we have addressed that. I think majority of you want the content to be on the slide. So, ठीक we'll go ahead with that option. Okay, cool. I think we've decided that. So, we'll have content wali slides, pointers wali slides from tomorrow's Hindu analysis. Okay, that's sorted. I wanted just to ask you guys once. Alright, ठीक है. आज का discussion start करते हैं. These are the 4 topics which we're going to discuss in a little more detail, and of course our vocabulary for the day. Let's start with our newspaper discussion. Okay, this is the Hindu newspaper for 7th of July, and the headline news, the front news is Declaration at BRICS Summit reflects India's concerns over terrorism governance reforms. Now, where is this BRICS Summit happening? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Where is the BRICS Summit happening? जल्दी से मुझे बताओ आप लोग chat box में. Natik is saying student with a backlog of 5 months, should I start from latest to oldest or from starting? Start in the reverse order. Start with June, then May, then April. Reverse chronological order. Latest to oldest. Newspaper is not visible. Okay. ऐसा कैसे हो गया? Okay. Just give me a second. Is it visible now? Is the newspaper visible now? Quick yes in the chat box. Yes, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil is the right answer. Absolutely right. That is where the BRICS summit is happening. The BRICS leaders' declaration was adopted at the summit in the Brazilian city. And हमने यहाँ पे क्या issues raise किए? Cross-border terrorism related issues, government reforms related issues, and मोदी जी ने यहाँ पे कहा कि global south जो है that is facing double standards. And जो peace और security और reforms की हम बात करते हैं वहाँ पे some countries are showing double standards. Obviously, this was an indirect dig at India's not so friendly countries like China and Pakistan. And ये जो declaration था इसमें they recorded support from Russia, China, and permanent members of the UN Security Council that they would be supporting the aspirations of BRICS. And yeah, UN would now play a greater role in contributing towards the aspirations of countries like Brazil and India. So यही हुआ हमारी ब्रिक्स समिट में. बाकी मोदी जी ने ये भी कहा कि 2/3 ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी के पास अभी भी प्रॉपर रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं है in the global institutions, and India as a country is trying to play a role where we try to become a voice of the global economy, where we give them a seat at the decision making table. And this is not just about representation, it's about credibility and effectiveness. उन्होंने कहा कि अभी जो global institutions हैं वो effectively solutions deliver नहीं कर पा रहे. They have failed in giving solutions or stopping conflicts. And उन्होंने कहा कि ये जो BRICS का expansion है, this is a great move because we need to evolve with the changing times. And he welcomed Indonesia as the new member of BRICS. Currently, how many members does BRICS have? Can anyone tell me? BRICS, कुछ लोग उसको BRICS Plus भी बोलते हैं. But yeah, BRICS initiative के अब कितने members हैं as of now? How many members are part of BRICS as of now? Quickly tell me in the chat box. And who are the new members? चलो ब्रिक्स तो हम सबको पता है कौन से हैं 5 members ब्रिक्स के. ब्राजील, रशिया, इंडिया, चाइना एंड साउथ अफ्रीका. We all know that. But who are the new members? Some are saying 11, some are saying 10, some are saying 8. क्या है सही आंसर? As of now, there are 10 members. ठीक है? The original OG members, Brazil, Russia, India, China. And उसके बाद South Africa joined in 2010. उसके बाद new members joined. The new members are Iran, UAE, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Indonesia. ठीक है? Iran, UAE, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Indonesia. These are the 5 new members. So currently, officially, 10 new members, not 10 new members, 10 total members of BRICS Summit. अब ब्रिक्स समिट की अगर आप स्ट्रैटेजी के पर्सपेक्टिव से बात करो तो दिस ग्रुप वाज फॉर्मलाइज्ड एज ब्रिक BRIC इन सितंबर 2006 एंड वहाँ पे ये चारों कंट्री सबसे पहले मिली थी टू डिस्कस सच एन इनिशिएटिव. मिली कहाँ पे थी? मिली थी इन रशिया इन सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग इन जुलाई 2006. इन सितंबर में इन्होंने फॉर्मलाइज कर दिया था. और अगर आपसे पूछी जाए कि फर्स्ट फॉर्मल मीटिंग कहाँ हुई थी तो वो भी रशिया में हुई थी, बट वो 2009 में हुई थी, ठीक है. सो द ग्रुप वाज फॉर्मलाइज्ड इन 2006, बट द फर्स्ट फॉर्मल मीटिंग हैपेंड इन 2009. सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस व्हिच यू गाइस वुड रिमेंबर. उस टाइम की 4 इमर्जिंग कंट्रीज थी, ब्राजील, रशिया, इंडिया एंड चाइना, जिन्होंने मिलकर ये ब्रिक्स ग्रुपिंग बनाई. कैन एनीवन टेल मी हु कॉइंड द टर्म ब्रिक? ये एक्रोनिम या ये वर्ड किसने दिया था, BRIC, ब्रिक की इनिशियल्स को जोड़ के हम एक ऐसा इनिशिएटिव बनाएंगे? Who was the first person to coin this word? Can anyone tell me the answer to that? Interesting question again. Jim O'Neill is the correct answer. Jim O'Neill was an economist, I think a British economist, who coined this particular term. And उसके बाद जो है 2006 में ये फॉर्मलाइज हुआ. Absolutely right. इस बार की अगर थीम की बात करें तो this time the theme was strengthening global South cooperation for more and inclusive sustainable governance. ठीक है, strengthening global South cooperation for more and inclusive and sustainable governance. ठीक है, तो इस बार Brazil is trying to take this theme further. And जब हम ब्रिक्स की बात करते हैं तब हम हर बार बात करते हैं न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक की भी, जिसको अनऑफिशियल टर्म्स में आप ब्रिक्स बैंक भी कह सकते हो. When did BRICS Bank or New Development Bank come into existence as a legal entity? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? NDB कब form हुआ? Yes, Jim O'Neill 2001 is the correct answer. Absolutely right. (2014) says AB. Some sources say 2014, some sources say 2015. मैंने जिस सोर्स को रेफर किया था वहाँ पर 2015 लिखा था. So yeah, I mean 2015 is when it became a legal entity. UFA करके एक समिट हुई थी, and उसके बाद जो है it was established in the BRICS member states in 2016 कि BRICS member states का एक तरीके से official bank रहेगा. And where is the headquarter of New Development Bank? Where is it headquartered currently? इसको यूएन जनरल असेंबली से ऑब्जर्वर स्टेटस भी मिला हुआ है. 2018 में मिला था ऑब्जर्वर स्टेटस. ऑब्जेक्टिव इसका यही है कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स उनको फंड करना, उनको सपोर्ट करना, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स बनाना इन द ब्रिक्स कंट्रीज एंड अदर इमर्जिंग कंट्रीज. सो या, दैट इज व्हाट द बैंक डज. Shanghai, China is the correct answer. Absolutely right. Good job. So you guys are doing your GK quite well. That's impressive. All right. No change in instructions for voter list revision in Bihar, says Election Commission. We have discussed this. So this is the latest development. उन्होंने clarification issue किया है and उन्होंने बोला है कि special intensive revision progressing जो है Election Commission के हिसाब से चल रही है. What happened was कि कुछ inconsistencies मिली थी voter list में, duplicacies मिली थी. तो Election Commission ने कहा था कि अब जो है हम इन duplicacies, इन inconsistencies को ठीक करेंगे. And अब जो Election Commission ने कहा कि there is no change in instruction for the voter list revision, क्योंकि opposition parties से काफी ज़्यादा जो है protest आ रहा था इस पे. Okay, moving ahead. This is not important. This is not important. Save Bihar. Rahul Tejasvi, Mount attack. This is all politics, not important for us. Crime-based news, not important for us. State-based news. Delhi government appoints 138 nursing officers, rolls out Ayushman Bharat vans. Now, what is Ayushman Bharat? This is the largest healthcare scheme in India. And why are they launching Ayushman Bharat vans now? Because Delhi was one of the late entrants to the Ayushman Bharat scheme. Ayushman Bharat scheme जो है Delhi ने implement नहीं करी थी काफी देर तक until the BJP formed the government in 2018. And अब क्योंकि आ गई है डबल इंजन की सरकार, so इन्होंने आयुष्मान भारत implement कर दी. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Harsh is saying, if I don't give marks, would it affect my performance? Okay. My question to you is, Harsh, if you stop breathing, would you be able to survive? That's your answer. If you don't eat food, would you be able to survive? If you don't practice running, would you be able to get an Olympic gold medal? All answers point the same way. Yeah, time आपको निकालना पड़ेगा ना, boss. You have to make out time. Cut down 1 hour from your sleep, probably. Cut down 1 hour from your leisure time. 1 hour of chit chatting with friends, whatever. there are 24 hours and there are equal time for everyone. So make sure that you try and get some extra time and give your mocks consistently. Goes out for everyone. Okay, moving ahead, what else do we have? Historic initiative that bridges a 15-year gap in recruitment. ठीक है, ये इसमें कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं है हमारे लिए. आगे चलते हैं, आगे चलते हैं, आगे चलते हैं. Two Kerala districts strengthen vigilance against Nipah infection. Now, this is another infection which became quite tricky to handle. Started usually in the regions of Kerala and then started spreading. अभी उतना ज़्यादा widespread तो नहीं है, but हाँ, केरला में काफ़ी ज़्यादा strict protocol हो गया है. A lot of people are getting affected by this Nipah virus. Okay, rains in Himachal Pradesh, infant only survivor of family, Mandi. Who's the candidate who represents Mandi in the parliament? Do you guys know? Who's the politician from Mandi? Quite a famous personality. She also went to visit, although 5 days late, but yeah. आप लोग मुझे बताओ, who's the MLA MP from Mandi? ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. Nothing important in state news here. Okay, nothing important here as well. ठीक है, this is all localized news, state-based news. कुछ ऐसा national level का interesting यहाँ पे नहीं है. Marathi row BJP likens assault on Hindi speakers to Pahalgam attack. This we've already discussed. This is the whole 3-language policy wala issue and protest happening in the state of Maharashtra. Rising concerns over conduct of lawyers in virtual hearings. Now this is an interesting article. It says that lawyers are not really taking virtual hearings seriously and they are sort of misusing the liberty which virtual hearings provide. Virtual मतलब online hearings, Zoom hearings, and उसमें जो है क्या क्या दिक्कतें आ रही हैं देखो. There's a blatant misuse of it. One egregious example involved a man attending a high court hearing from his toilet. In another case, also in Gujarat, a video went viral showcasing a senior advocate appearing to sip beer during a virtual session. I don't know what to say to that. In Delhi High Court, recently a strong exception to a women lawyer who joined a hearing via mobile phone while walking through a public park. So basically, people are not really taking it seriously. And despite repeated directions, certain sections of the bar have failed to understand the decorum of the court. Bar यहाँ पे ये beer वाले bar की बात नहीं हो रही है. The lawyers group is called a bar here, and they have failed to, uphold the decorum of the court. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much what the article says. And there are no specific penalties for this, क्योंकि law ही नहीं कोई exist करता virtual hearings के बारे में. Court can invoke the Contempt of Court Act or exercise their inherent power, but there's no specific law about how would you tackle if a person is attending a hearing from their toilet. So they're saying that do's and don'ts must be clearly listed on court websites, and litigants lack familiarity, but lawyers have no excuse. Lawyers ही ऐसी हरकतें करेंगे तो फिर आप client से क्या ही expect कर सकते हैं. Okay, interesting. Moving ahead, editorial new battle challenge of China-Pakistan collusion. I don't want to discuss this once again because we have discussed this way too many times. The same old article. The new one front reinforced challenge is no longer a theoretical concern. India needs to rethink its defense posture, force modernization, strategic signaling, all of it related to Operation Sindoor, how we are fighting on two fronts, how there is a new normal, etc., etc. Same boring keywords which we have been hearing for so long now. I don't want to spend time reading this article once again. Not taking any credit away from the article, it's a good article. It's just that we have discussed this topic way too many times, so I don't want to spend more time on it. On the left-hand side, there's an article which again talks about India's stance on the BRICS summit and how Modi ji is on a back-to-back bilateral visit to countries like Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Argentina. In total, he's visiting 5 countries. We all know that, and he's consolidating our diplomatic relationship, our bilateral relationship with these countries. So yeah, that's what this article talks about. The Khelo Bharat Niti as a beacon for Indian football. Now, this is something new. This is a interesting article, and what this article talks about is a policy. It's a national sport, also called Khelo Bharat Niti 2025, which was passed by the cabinet on 1st July. And this policy is a major milestone if you talk about our development towards sports. And they're saying that this is a five-pillar approach in policy in the context of football. So India, we all know, has expressed interest in bidding for Olympics. Which Olympics have we expressed interest for? कौन से साल के ओलंपिक्स हम होस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं? So, what we're trying to establish here is that we want to host international sporting events, and for that, we need to have an excellent sporting infrastructure, an excellent sporting, culture in the country. And they have listed down these five different pillars in order to, improve this policy or implement this policy. The first pillar which they talk about is sports excellence. They are saying that it's important कि हमारी जो इंडिया की टीम है, it should have a standing in the global arena, and we need to do a lot of work there. मतलब इंडिया जो है does not qualify for the FIFA World Cup, and football में India is not that impressive on a global stage. So they are saying we need to work on that कि हमारी national team जो है improve हो. Second thing is there has to be social development in context of sport. That is, the role of football in sports and inclusion of football should be increased. India as a country is fanatic about only a few specific sports as of now. फुटबॉल की अगर आप बात करो तो फुटबॉल कल्चर आपको थोड़ा सा नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में मिलेगा, थोड़ा सा आपको कोलकाता के अराउंड मिलेगा, वेस्ट बंगाल में काफ़ी है फुटबॉल कल्चर. But beyond that, on a national level, we are not really a football frenzy country. What is the sport which most Indians are crazy about? Can you guys take a guess in the chat box? Very easy question though. So yeah, they're saying that we need to look at football differently. Third thing which they say is we need to look at it from an economic development point of view as well. That how can football contribute as an industry? How we can, plan events around football, how we can create football manufacturing, how we can create jobs using football. Manufacturing से मुझे याद आया. Can you guys tell which country manufactures maximum footballs for usually international events and events like FIFA World Cup? Hint is that it's an Asian country. ज़्यादा hint नहीं दूंगा मैं. Any guesses? Which country am I talking about? Famous for manufacturing footballs. Yes, cricket is the obvious answer to my question. No. All of these countries do manufacture footballs for sure, but I'm talking about a country which supplied football to the FIFA World Cup. Also a neighboring country, by the way. Yes, I'm talking about Pakistan. Pakistan, surprisingly, does quite well in terms of football manufacturing. So yeah, read up on it. Quite an interesting case study to look at. But anyway, coming back to our discussion. So these were the three pillars. The fourth pillar is making sports as a people's movement. Because in India, sporting is not really given that much emphasis. If you look at it from a broader point of view, sports is given a secondary darja in terms of priorities. कि पहले पढ़ाई लिखाई कर लो, साथ साथ खेल लो जो खेलना है. But if you ask most Indian parents, they would not be really happy about their child being a sports person or giving priority to sports over, traditional academics. Even though every parent wants their child to be a MS Dhoni or a Virat Kohli or a Sachin Tendulkar, but they don't want to nurture that talent. So that's a big issue which we have in our country, that sport is not given that much of credibility and emphasis, and community does not really participate. And the last pillar, the fifth pillar which we talk about is talking about sports in education. So promoting sports in schools. फुटबॉल के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में सारी बातें हो रही हैं, बट स्कूल्स में भी इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग स्पोर्टिंग कल्चर अभी हमारा नहीं है. श्योर देयर इज अ स्पोर्ट्स पीरियड विच मोस्ट ऑफ द स्कूल्स हैव, बट स्पोर्ट्स पीरियड में भी हफ्ते में एक स्पोर्ट्स पीरियड मिलता है आपको, एक या दो if you are lucky enough. Some schools do have daily sports and all of those things, but in most traditional schools and sarkari schools, usually sports are not given that much of an emphasis from an education point of view, from an all-round development point of view. And ये जो new national sports policy है, ये इसी तरीके से डिजाइन करी जा रही है that it aligns with the national education policy, and we create a new era, we create a new domain where Indian sports are brought into the forefront with a lot of transparency, with a lot of accountability, with a lot of inclusivity. So, yeah, that is what the author is arguing here. He's the president of All India Football Federation, Mr. Kalyan Chaube. So, yeah, that's all what we had to discuss. यहाँ पे इन्होंने स्टैट्स वगैरह दिए हैं स्कूल्स एंड फुटबॉल से रिलेटेड एंड ही टॉक्स अबाउट द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ ओसीआई टैलेंट व्हिच इज ओवरसीज सिटीजंस, यानी कि इंडिया के प्लेयर्स जो हैं दूसरी कंट्रीज में जाके उनकी टीम्स को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं लेकिन इंडिया में उनको चांस नहीं मिल पा रहा. दैट इज व्हाट दिस पैराग्राफ टेल्स अबाउट. इवन क्रिकेट की अगर आप बात करो तो जो ये लेसर नोन क्रिकेटिंग नेशंस हैं जिनकी क्रिकेट टीम उतनी प्रोमिनेंट नहीं है, वहाँ के अगर आप क्रिकेट टीम्स देखोगे ना तो आपको मैक्सिमम इंडियन नेम्स दिखेंगे वहाँ पे, because that is how high the representation and the craze for that sport is. Same goes for football as well in some countries, especially Asian countries. बाहर की countries में तो उनकी चलो specialized teams हैं यूरोप की, but yeah, if you would have seen US की cricket team तो आपको उसमें बहुत सारे Indian names देखने को मिलते हैं. One of those guys was also a software engineer in US, also a member of the US cricket team. So interesting stuff. Anyway, moving ahead, this left hand side ये US student visas वाली चीज हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं ऑलरेडी. ट्रम्प की पॉलिसी. India's diplomacy is measured, not mute. Again, this is in context of how India is responding to the different geopolitical events. चाहे वो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के aftermath effects हों, चाहे वो strategically looking at the other geopolitical conflicts in West Asia हों. That is what she has discussed. That India's strategic silence is a sign of its growing stature. It speaks when it matters the most, acts when it counts, and leads when it is required to. And again, वहीं पे उन्होंने examples लिए कि how we have a large diaspora in Gulf countries, how we are having diplomatic calculations with all the stakeholders in conflicts, चाहे वो ईरान से लोगों को rescue करना हो, चाहे वो इसराइल को support करना हो. Over the years, we have developed diplomatic relationships in such a way that we are able to hold our own in any conflict, चाहे वो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हो with Pakistan. And we show selective outrage. जब भी हमें outrage दिखाना होता है तो हम outrage दिखाते हैं. And हमारी strategic autonomy यही है कि ये जो हमारा quiet confidence है, this shows a lot of conviction and clarity. And this shows that India is capable of maintaining its own opinions and holding its own judgments and not getting swayed, not getting influenced, not getting pressurized into making public statements due to the global conflicts. So yeah, all in all यही है ये आर्टिकल. कुछ ज़्यादा इसमें intense है नहीं decode करने को. Okay, end of tuberculosis that wasn't. This article tells you different stats about tuberculosis, which was a disease which used to claim, still claims a lot of lives in India as well as other countries. India used to be one of the most severely affected countries from TB. ये वाला आर्टिकल आपको नंबर्स बता रहा है यूजुअली यूएस के, तो इसीलिए हमारे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है नहीं. हम क्या करें यूएस के टीबी के नंबर्स जान के, रेलेवेंट नहीं है हमारे लिए. So we can just skip this one. Bihar's electoral rolls being revised. We have discussed this, but chalo, let's read the gist again. Article 324 of the Constitution provides superintendence, direction and control of the preparation of electoral rolls. मतलब जो लिस्ट होती है जिसमें लोगों के वोटर्स के नाम होते हैं, for the conduct of elections to parliament and state legislation, and this shall vest with the election commission. यानी कि ये जो power electoral roll बनाने की election commission के पास है. And they have noted that large-scale addition and deletion to these roles have happened over the last 20 years due to urbanization and migration, जिससे duplicate entries create हो गई हैं. During the last SIR, enumerators were sent for house-to-house verifications with a copy of details of existing voters. However, in the present SIR, every elector will have to submit an enumeration form to their respective booth level officers. अब ये SIR किस चीज को बोल रहे हैं? Special intensive revision को बोल रहे हैं. अच्छा, basically changes in the electoral rolls को बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है. Okay. You guys can read this article. अच्छा article है, interesting article. It tells you different sections of the Representation Act as well. Section 19, 20, 21 are usually the relevant ones. Section 16 जो है disqualification बताता है कैसे आप disqualify हो जाओगे. Section 19 जो है बताता है कि आप 18 years of age के होने चाहिए. Section 20 बताता है that what is the meaning of ordinary resident. Section 21 बताता है कि आप electoral rolls कैसे बनाओगे, कैसे prepare करोगे. These are some relevant sections of the Representation of People Act. That is what the RP Act is. Okay, cool. This is the timeline for Bihar elections. Not important for us, but yeah, just for your knowledge. Okay, why has Google's AI overviews sparked an antitrust firestorm in the European Union? This is an interesting article. आप लोगों ने भी शायद ये ऑब्जर्व किया होगा, जब भी आप कोई चीज गूगल करते हो, कोई क्वेरी गूगल करते हो, तो सबसे ऊपर एक AI जनरेटेड समरी आ जाती है. चलो एक लाइव एग्जांपल करके देखते हैं इस चीज का. गिव मी अ क्वेश्चन. लेट्स आस्क अ क्वेश्चन. What is the best method to prepare butter paneer? Okay, I'll share my screen. Wait a second. You see what comes on top? An AI overview. The best method to prepare butter paneer involves this, this, this. This is the detailed breakdown. You have the recipe, you have the ingredients, you have the cooking instructions as well. अब क्या आपको इसके अलावा कुछ और चाहिए बटर पनीर बनाने के लिए? श्योर, यू माइट गो एंड रेफर टू अ यूट्यूब वीडियो, बट आई एम टॉकिंग इन जनरल. जो स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज होती हैं, जो टेक्स्ट रिस्पॉन्स से सॉल्व हो जाती हैं, यू यूजुअली वोंट इवन स्क्रॉल बिलो द एआई ओवरव्यू इन 90% ऑफ द केसेस. अब इससे नुकसान किसका हो रहा है? इससे नुकसान इनका, स्वातिज रेसिपीज का, कुक विद मनाली का, दसाना वेज रेसिपीज. इनकी वेबसाइट पे कोई क्यों जाएगा? जो आपको सारी चीज यहाँ बाहर बाहर मिल गई, जो आपको एक्सट्रैक्ट करनी थी इंफॉर्मेशन, यू गेट एवरीथिंग हियर. व्हाई वुड यू इवन गो टू दोज पर्टिकुलर ब्लॉग्स? एंड दैट इज व्हाट द इशू इज. That is what the problem with Google's AI overview is, that it has created an antitrust firestorm. Competition एकदम इन्होंने खत्म कर दिया. AI overviews are AI generated summaries that appear at the top of Google search results. Independent Publishers Alliance, alongside groups like Movements for an Open Web, argue that this feature hurts competition and it's causing serious irreparable harm. ठीक है, अब इसमें काफी सारे छोटे छोटे पॉइंट्स डिस्कस किए हुए हैं. What is Google AI overviews? मैंने आपको लाइव डेमो दिखा दिया. How do they work? मैंने आपको लाइव डेमो दिखा दिया. Basically, they use a technique called retrieval augmented generation. एक AI टूल है जो ये चीज बहुत अच्छे से करता है. Perplexity उसका नाम है. Recently it has raised a lot of funds. उस पर भी बहुत सारे लॉ सूट्स चल रहे हैं. न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स ने उस पर केस कर रखा है, वॉशिंगटन पोस्ट ने उस पर केस कर रखा है. ये सब यहाँ नहीं लिखा, मैं आपको खुद से बता रहा हूँ. मैं पढ़ता रहता हूँ काफी चीजें AI के बारे में. सो पढ़ना, आप परप्लेक्सिटी के बारे में पढ़ना, व्हाई इज इट इन कंट्रोवर्सी, वो चीज पढ़ना. बट या रिट्रीवल ऑगमेंटेड सिस्टम जो है अलग अलग जगह से इंफॉर्मेशन फेच कर लेता है एंड फिर आपको सिंथेसाइज करके कोहेरेंट उसकी समरी बना के दे देता है, ताकि आपको जो है कहीं और जाने की जरूरत ना पड़े. और वहीं पे आपको लिंक्स भी मिल जाते हैं इफ यू वांट टू गो डीपर. देखो यहाँ पे वापस आते हैं टैब पे. अब मुझे इसके बारे में और पढ़ना है, तो यू कैन सी दिस आइकन. दिस इज अ लिंक व्हिच वुड टेक मी टू दीज यूट्यूब ट्यूटोरियल्स. तो यहीं से मैं यूट्यूब पे चला जाऊंगा, तो मैं ये नीचे वाली वेबसाइट्स पे तो आने ही नहीं वाला फिर, है ना. दैट इज वेयर दे हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. एंड पब्लिशर्स स्पेशली हैव अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. न्यूज वेबसाइट्स का तो धंधा ही चौपट हो जाएगा इससे. अगर आप सारी न्यूज ऊपर ऊपर दे दोगे, व्हाई वुड एनीवन गो टू रीड 10 different articles from 10 different newspapers? So that is why they have a problem with this. And how are regulators getting involved? अब ये जो competition authorities हैं यूरोपियन कमीशन की, वो इसको इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं कि क्या मेजर्स लिए जा सकते हैं इसके अगेंस्ट. अभी तो केस चल ही रहा है. एंड हाउ इज गूगल डिफेंडिंग द ओवरव्यू? Google has pushed back against the claims, and they said that new AI experiences in search enable people to ask even more questions, which creates new opportunities for content and business to be discovered, which is very lame as a defense argument. But ठीक है, the company maintains that it sends billions of clicks to websites every day, and traffic fluctuations can be due to many factors like seasonal interest, regular algorithm updates. हमने कुछ नहीं किया भाई, ये तो ऊपर नीचे थोड़ा बहुत चलता रहता है. So they are saying that clicks from pages with AI overviews are of higher quality, meaning users are more likely to stay on the sites they visit. तो कह रहे हैं अपनी साइट सुधारो ताकि वो हमारी AI overview में आ पाए. हम पे ब्लेम मत डालो, ठीक है. Pretty interesting stuff. July 9 strike is the cause of workers and jobless youth. This is not important for us. ट्रेड यूनियन की स्ट्राइक की बात हो रही है. दलाई लामा का 90th हैप्पी बर्थडे आ गया है. आके मतलब चला भी गया है, संडे को था. And he reaffirms his commitment to serve sentient beings. Sentient beings कौन होता है? Beings who have emotions, sentience, life in them. So yeah, those are sentient beings. And उन्होंने बोल दिया कि भाई अपना लीडर मैं कुछ चूज करूंगा. ये जो कमीशन है इनका, जो ग्रुप है वो चूज करेगा. चाइना ने बोला है हम चूज करेंगे. उस पे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है. ठीक है. Cooperatives must be India's economic backbone. Now, this is the last article which we're going to discuss in detail today. What exactly are cooperatives and how they can be India's backbone? देखो समझो. हमारे होम मिनिस्टर साहब अमित शाह जी जो है, एक सेकंड चार्जर लगा ले मित्रों. So सबसे पहले समझते हैं cooperatives होते क्या हैं. So cooperatives are organizations जो, let's say a group of 50 people come together and they form a cooperative. Though this is completely voluntary. ठीक है, ऐसा गवर्नमेंट ने नहीं बोला है कि आपको cooperative बनना है. Completely voluntary, completely democratic and completely autonomous organizations. Basically एक सोसाइटी टाइप की बना लिया आपने, एक cooperative बना लिया, which operates in a particular sector. Usually state specific होती है ये. आप लोगों ने उसका नाम सुना है? चलो एग्जांपल पूछ लेता हूँ आपसे. विच बटर डू यू गाइस कंज्यूम? कौन सा बटर ब्रांड आप लोग प्रेफर करते हो यूजुअली? व्हिच इज योर फेवरेट बटर ब्रांड? मोस्ट ऑफ यू आई थिंक अग्री विद दैट आंसर. अमूल बटर. मैं तो एटलीस्ट वही खा रहा हूँ बचपन से. Yes, Amul is a cooperative. Okay, Amul is not a private limited company. Amul is a cooperative. A group of people who came together and decided that okay, we will do this business. So, Nandini butter कौन खा रहा है? अधोक्ष. Okay, good for you, I guess. But yeah, मेरा पॉइंट अमूल पूछने का यही था बिकॉज आई वांटेड टू टेल यू गाइस दैट अमूल इज अ कोऑपरेटिव. सो ऐसे आप मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज भी बना सकते हो विच ऑपरेट इन मल्टीपल स्टेट्स एंड मल्टीपल सेक्टर्स, बट यूजुअली स्टेट स्पेसिफिक होती है. कोई भी सेक्टर हो सकता है. इट कुड बी एग्रीकल्चर, इट कुड बी डेयरी जैसे अमूल, इट कुड बी टेक्सटाइल, इट कुड बी पोल्ट्री, इट कुड बी मार्केटिंग. एंड यूजुअली स्टेट्स जो है इन स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज को रेगुलेट करती है. इनके इनकॉर्पोरेशन को, इनके रेगुलेशन को, इनकी वाइंडिंग अप को. देयर आर स्पेसिफिक लॉज फॉर इट एंड पार्लियामेंट जो है इस पे लॉज बना सकता है कि हाउ मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज वुड ऑपरेट. देयर इज अ लॉ व्हिच इज called as MSCS Act of 2002, which is Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act of 2002, जो बताता है कि कैसे फंक्शनिंग होगी इन स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज की. And these come under a specific ministry, which is also called the Ministry of Cooperation. And ये cooperative societies बनाने का हक हमें कब मिला? This came through the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2011, where this became a fundamental right. हक तो उससे पहले भी था. I would say fundamental right ये 2011 में बना through the 97th Constitutional Amendment, जहाँ पे it was established that this is a right to form association, and उसके अंडर ही आएगा आर्टिकल 19 के अंदर. DPSPs भी जो है इसके बारे में बात करते हैं. आर्टिकल 43B talks about DPSP which talks about cooperative societies. ठीक है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का भी पार्ट है कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज. पार्ट 9B में आपको मिलेंगे कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज का डिस्कशन. आर्टिकल 243ZH से लेके आर्टिकल 243ZT तक. सो ये जो यूनियन मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेशन है ये बनी थी 2021 में. पहले ये एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री के अंडर आता था. अभी भी सॉर्ट ऑफ ओवरसी एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री करती है इसको, बट नाउ इट ऑपरेट्स एज अ सेपरेट मिनिस्ट्री इन इटसेल्फ. एंड इसमें मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव्स भी हैं, स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव्स भी हैं. मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव्स आपके यूनियन लिस्ट में आते हैं एंट्री 44 में. स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव्स आपके एंट्री 32 ऑफ स्टेट लिस्ट में आते हैं. यूनियन लिस्ट और स्टेट लिस्ट का फर्क आपको पता ही है. यूनियन लिस्ट में यूनियन गवर्नमेंट लॉ बनाता है, स्टेट लिस्ट में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट लॉ बनाता है. अब यहाँ पे हमारे अमित शाह जी ने बोला क्या? अमित शाह जी ने बोला है कि इंडिया का ये जो कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर है ये बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है इन टर्म्स ऑफ वेलफेयर ऑफ द कंट्री, इन टर्म्स ऑफ transparency, in terms of technology adoption, in terms of making the country's cooperative sector successful. And basically इन्होंने technology integration की बात करी कि without technology you cannot prosper in terms of taking your cooperatives ahead एंड अमूल डेयरी का भी रेफरेंस यहाँ पे दिया गया है, 4th फाउंडेशन डे सेलिब्रेशंस ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेशन मिनिस्ट्री में। तो यूनियन कॉर्पोरेशन मिनिस्ट्री में आपको पता है 2021 में बनी थी, 4 साल हो गए, 4th फाउंडेशन डे था उसका। सो या दैट इज व्हाट द इवेंट वाज। पे अमित शाह जी गए थे और उन्होंने बेसिकली एम्फेसाइज किया कि कितने इंपॉर्टेंट है कॉर्पोरेटिव्स हमारे कंट्री के विकास के लिए। ठीक है, इतना ही है इस आर्टिकल में। बाकी जो जो चीज़ें आपको जाननी थी कॉर्पोरेटिव्स के बारे में वो सारी मैंने आपको बता दी हैं। ओके, this is political statements. We can move ahead. Politics again. Environmental impact study for Nikobar project downgrades, earthquake risks. So basically ये स्टडी हुई जिसमें काफ़ी सारे earthquake के रिस्क थे in developing the Nikobar project, बट उन्होंने उसको उतना ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दिया। रिपोर्ट ने कहा probability of a mega earthquake जिससे 2004 जैसी सुनामी आ सकती है वो लो है, लेकिन आईआईटी कानपुर का पोर्टल कह रहा है कि देयर इज अनसर्टेनिटी इन द प्रेडिक्शन ऑफ फ्यूचर अर्थक्वेक्स। सो अब आएगा तब पता चलेगा, लोग की जान जाएगी, फिर सरकार पे ब्लेम आएगा। दैट इज हाउ इट हैपेंस। ओके, नथिंग रेलेवेंट हियर। Israel Gaza going on. Without trade deals, US tariffs will kick in on 1st of August. वो जो विंडो पीरियड थी वो अब खत्म हो गई है। ओके, इंडिया जीत गई सेकंड टेस्ट, फर्स्ट टाइम इंडिया वन अ टेस्ट मैच इन एडबेस्टन, सो दैट इज अनदर इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग टू नोट। एंड शुभमन गिल आई थिंक बिकेम द person to score maximum, the Indian to score a maximum runs in a test match. I think he scored some 400 odd runs. एक मैच में डबल सेंचुरी, एक मैच में अगेन 160 odd runs. So yeah, that was another record which he broke and took away from Sunil Gavaskar. And yeah, that's all. Wimbledon is going on, but semi-final, finals जब आ जाएंगे हम तब डिस्कस करेंगे। ठीक है, cool. That is all about the newspaper, folks. Let's come back to our PPT and do the vocabulary jaldi se. This we have discussed, this we have discussed, this we have discussed, this we have discussed. Okay, the first vocabulary word for the day is voluble. Voluble मतलब होता है बातूनी, talkative, garrulous, verbose, talking fluently, readily or incessantly. Antonyms are silent, speechless, quiet. Clarissa was extremely voluble on the subject of good manners. The next word is cognate. Cognate मतलब होता है एक जैसा, almost similar, comparable, alike, analogous, having qualities in common. Antonyms are different, dissimilar, unlike. Sentences German and Dutch are cognate languages, which means they have a lot of similarities. The third and the last word is preposterous. Preposterous अगर आपने, अच्छा मैंने कहीं और किसी वीडियो में देखा, ठीक है। Anyway, preposterous means ridiculous. It means absurd. It means foolish. एक वेब सीरीज थी मामला लीगल है, उसमें ये वर्ड पे डायलॉग मारा था, but anyway, never mind. Preposterous means contrary to reason or common sense, utterly absurd or ridiculous. Antonyms are reasonable, sensible, logical. It is a preposterous suggestion to go swimming in this freezing weather. Fancy word to say ridiculous. Preposterous, cognate, which means comparable, voluble means talkative. That brings us to the end of today's discussion. Atriki Singh, I think your favorite dish is butter paneer or you have ate it before. Neither of the statements are true. Both the conclusions are wrong. My favorite dish is, can you guys take a guess? Chalo, guess ले लो आप लोग, क्या होगी मेरी favorite dish? Any guesses in the chat box? Haru is saying, I had a doubt. Do we have to remember all these sections from the newspaper? What sections are we talking about? We don't have to remember sections. We have to remember the important topics. Player is saying, as a CLAT aspirant, what are the articles you must know? As there are so many articles, and it's difficult to remember. You don't have to remember all of them. You have to filter out the relevant ones. देखो मैं जब न्यूज़पेपर आपके साथ स्क्रॉल करता हूँ तो ऐसे कि ये पॉलिटिक्स बेस्ड आर्टिकल है, नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. These are city based news, not important. These are irrelevant news related to US का data on tuberculosis, not important. So that is how you have to filter out the relevant articles. तो जब आप रेगुलर आने लगोगे इन एनालिसिस में तो आपको समझ आ जाएगा। मिंटी का टॉपिक इज करंट अफेयर्स रीवा, कल हम करंट अफेयर्स पे मिंटी कर रहे हैं। हाँ वही कह रहा हूँ मैं प्लेयर कि वंस यू स्टार्ट बीइंग रेगुलर टू द एनालिसिस यू विल अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू फिल्टर। राजमा चावल इज राइट देयर इन टॉप 5 बट इट्स नॉट द विनर। द विनर इज बटर चिकन एंड सबसे पहले आई थिंक गेस किया है हरू ने, बटर चिकन के साथ पराठा। नहीं, इट्स बटर चिकन। Butter chicken made by myself. That is my favorite dish. I cook really good butter chicken. So any of you who gets into the top 3 NLUs, you are most invited to a party at my house, and we can make butter paneer if you are vegetarian or butter chicken. But anyway, yes, butter chicken with garlic naan. Oh, chalo, ठीक है. Let's end that session on a mouth-watering note, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, Tuesday, same time, with a Menti quiz as well. Take care. Bye bye. Tada.